water pollution on biodiversity. What are the different effect? One, as today we have even discussed about the domestic sewage and industrial effluents. So what happens is domestic sewage is containing different type of household waste, human fecal waste, containing lots of microbes are being allowed to go into the water bodies, are allowed to go into the such water bodies. Okay, the sewage waste directly released to the water source stimulates the increase of pathogenic microbes. It causes waterborne disease. So what happens? What happens here is the sewage wastewater directly released to the water sources stimulates the increase of pathogenic microbes and it causes waterborne disease. So whatever the sewage waste is allowed to go into the water sources, either it can be lake, river, pond, ocean, seas, anything, it stimulates the increase of pathogenic microbes. Pathogenic microbes are nothing but the disease causing microbes. Okay, pathogenic microbes are nothing but the disease causing microbes. Okay, pathogenic microbes are nothing but the disease causing microbes, and they causes different what is different diseases. Like you must be aware about the diseases such as cholera, typhoid, and many such other diseases which are caused due to contaminated water. Okay, which are caused due to contaminated water. So these pathogenic microbes are the reason of the waterborne diseases. Okay, the pathogenic microbes are the reason for the waterborne diseases. Okay, how these waterborne diseases are caused? These waterborne diseases are caused due to these pathogenic microbes. Okay, due to these pathogenic microbes. What happens is the sewage waste, which is allowed to go into the water sources like rivers, seas, oceans, and later when the people consume it or they use it for the different or they use this water for their different uses. So what happens is those pathogenic microbes are allowed to enter into the human body, causing different diseases. Okay, causing different diseases. So you must be very much aware about many such diseases which are caused due to the negligence of water cleaning or due to the presence of such pathogenic microbes in them as well. Cholera, typhoid, even jaundice, hepatitis B as well are caused because of such waters which contains this pathogenic microbes. Pathogenic microbes are nothing but the disease causing microbes. Okay, pathogenic microbes are nothing but the disease causing microbes. One more thing is, please write down the points, whatever is there on the screen, because it will be very easy for you later to read it. Okay, later to read it and also understand it better. Okay, so the sewage waste that is directly released to the water source stimulates the increase of pathogenic microbes and it causes waterborne diseases. Why it causes waterborne diseases? Because it contains these disease causing microbes or these disease causing microorganisms. The sewage waste contains various domestic waste which contains organic matters and human excreta or a human fecal as well. Okay, and human fecal as well. So this is about what actually happens when the sewage waste is allowed to go into the water source. One more thing is the nutrition enrichment in water results eutrophication and algal bloom and the BOD, that is the biological oxygen demand. So we'll know more about what is BOD, what is eutrophication, and what is algal bloom as well. It increases the BOD. So what happens is the nutrition enrichment in the water. So if there are lot of sewage, lot of organic waste, a lot of such organic waste, that is algae, different type of beads or different types of organic matters into the water, it leads to eutrophication, algal bloom, and it increases the BOD, that is the biological oxygen demand. We'll know more about what is biological oxygen demand in our later slides. So you have to know that the nutrition enrichment in water, that is nothing but these organic waste, when they are allowed to go into the water, they result into eutrophication, algal bloom, and it increases the biological oxygen demand. Okay, increases the biological oxygen demand. Okay, next coming to the pesticides enters the water resources, leads to biomagnification. Okay, the pesticides or insecticides such as DDT and all, when are allowed to go into the water resources, they lead to biomagnification. Biomagnification is nothing but what happens is from a lower food chain, these pesticides or insecticides are allowed to move into the different higher food chain level. Okay, different higher food chain level. Okay, the pesticides which enters into the water resources leads to biomagnification, and biomagnification is nothing but biomagnification is nothing but it is something where from a lower food chain the pesticide is allowed to move into the higher food chain. We'll also know more about what is biomagnification in the coming slides. Just you have to remember is effect of water pollution causes waterborne diseases. It increases the biological oxygen demand. It causes eutrophication. It causes algal bloom, and it also leads to biomagnification. Okay, it also leads to biomagnification. Next, coming to industrial waste having heavy metals and chemicals released to water, destroys the aquatic organisms. So what happens is, now when we were talking about the Minamata disease also, so what happens actually, the industrial waste, what they do is they do not dump it any other places, but they allow it to go into such water bodies. So what happens is the industrial waste having a heavy metals and chemicals released into the water destroys the aquatic organism. Such aquatic organism, when they consume that particular harmful chemical or the harmful metals, what happens is either they are died in a large number, or they magnify, or they consume it inside their body. Okay, or they consume it inside their body. So what happens, the first thing is, if the industrial waste having heavy metals and chemicals released to the water destroys the aquatic organism. So you have to only remember is the industrial waste containing metals and chemicals, when they are allowed to release into the water bodies, they destroy the aquatic organism. Means they kill all those animals which are present in the water bodies. Okay, those animals which are present in the water bodies. So not only industrial waste or heavy metals, even some of those harmful waste which we also throw or dump in the water bodies also causes the death of the aquatic organism. One among them is oil spill as well. Okay, oil spillage in the water bodies, during transportation or anything as such, also causes the death of the various aquatic organisms. When you go through once about the history of the oil spillage, or some of those news about the oil spillage, or the case study about the oil spillage, you will also know that how the effect of the oil spillage has been until now on the aquatic organisms. Okay, so industrial waste having heavy metals and chemicals released to the water bodies destroys the aquatic organisms. Okay, the mercury that enters the human beings through food chain causes Minamata disease. So here only the answer is that the mercury that enters the human beings through food chain. Okay, so what happened was, the methyl mercury, which was allowed to go into the Minamata River, what happened? The fishes in this Minamata Bay or the Minamata River were consumed by, uh, the mercury which was allowed to go into this Minamata River was consumed by the fishes in the Minamata Bay. Okay, the fishes in the Minamata Bay. So those fishes were later consumed by the human beings. The fishes which contained methyl mercury were consumed by the human beings, which caused a disease called as Minamata disease, which was in 1956 in Japan, and it affects the central nervous system of the body, causing different problems as well. Until now, people see the effect of this Minamata disease. Okay, of this Minamata disease in Japan. So, what are the effect of water pollution on biodiversity? So, domestic sewage and industrial effluents. So, sewage is a domestic waste containing large amount of waste organic matters, including human fecal matter and microbes. Okay, so what are the different effects now? Just you have to remember what are the different effects. We'll know about the definition, how it causes, what it causes in the further slides. So, the sewage waste directly released to the water sources stimulates the increase of pathogenic microbes, that is disease-causing microbes are increased in the water bodies, which causes waterborne diseases. Okay, the diseases which are caused due to the contamination of water. Okay, the diseases which are caused due to contamination of water, it can be cholera, it can be typhoid, it can be jaundice and hepatitis B as well. Okay, so this is caused, these are the waterborne diseases. Next is the domestic sewage and industrial effluents also results into eutrophication and algal bloom. Okay, eutrophication and algal bloom, and also increases the biological oxygen demand. Okay, also increases the biological oxygen demand, that is BOD. Okay, the pesticides enters the water resources, leads to biomagnification. Okay, biomagnification is nothing but from one food chain or from one trophic level of food chain, the pesticide enters into the different food chain, whereas it goes on to the last trophic level. Okay, from a first trophic level, it moves on to the last trophic level, and that particular thing where the pesticide is allowed to move from one trophic level to the other trophic level is known as biomagnification. Okay, we'll know more about what is biomagnification, how it causes, why it is known as biomagnification as well. So, one more thing is, industrial waste having heavy metals and chemicals released to the water destroys the aquatic organism. This you have to remember. Industrial waste, either also the harmful household waste as well, oil spills, which are allowed to move into the water, destroys the aquatic organisms. Okay, the mercury that enters the human beings through food chain causes Minamata disease. Okay, the mercury that enters the human beings through food chain causes the Minamata disease. These are the effects of water pollution on biodiversity. Okay, so next coming to what is BOD. Okay, what is BOD? If it is asked for you what is BOD and expanded, then it is nothing but biological oxygen demand. Okay, it is biological oxygen demand. It is nothing but biological oxygen demand. So, what it is BOD and why it is the effect of water pollution? So, what happens is, now for the example, this is a thing. This is a pond which is having a lot of this is a pond which has a water in it. Okay, So now there are no organisms. Okay, there are no organisms. Some of the microbes will be there. Water living microbes will be there, and it is a clean water which you can consume. Okay, which you can drink. It is now a drinking water where people take it for the drinking. Okay, and a few or no microorganisms are present in this. Okay, okay. When now few and no microorganisms are present, that means the clear water without the microorganism doesn't need any oxygen for the breaking down. Okay, for the breaking down of it. Okay, doesn't need any oxygen for breaking down it. Now what happens is, now this is not a drinking water, but a water containing a lot of microorganisms, algae, microorganisms, algae, and a different types of weeds, plants in this. Okay, so this is a water containing microorganism, algae, and weeds. Okay, now all these microorganism, algae, and weeds need oxygen. Okay, all these microorganism, weeds, and algae need oxygen. Okay. So as this need oxygen, the demand of the oxygen increases. Okay, the demand of the oxygen increases. When the demand of the oxygen increases, that means that water is either polluted or either contains a lot of organic material, organic matter, or organism in it. Okay, that means the water contains lot of organic matter, organic materials, a lot of organism in it. Understood. So what happens is, as this microorganism needs my oxygen, weeds need oxygen, algae needs oxygen, that means the demand for the oxygen increases. Whereas when now the water is clean, okay, water is clean, no such microorganism, no such weeds, no algae, and the water is fit for drinking. Okay, that means there is no need of oxygen in it. Yes or no? That means this water is clean, and this water is clean. Whereas this water, which contains lot of microorganisms, weeds, and algae, which has a lot of demand for oxygen, which has a lot of demand for oxygen, that means a lot of organism or organic material or a living organism which requires oxygen are present in this water. Okay, those organisms which requires oxygen are present in the water. So what it is done is a test or a biological oxygen demand experiments are done. So a drinking water is only taken, and is tested for biological oxygen demand. Okay, and is tested for biological oxygen demand. Why they do it? Why they do it is because, now for example, if the water has less biological oxygen demand, means the water is demanding for less oxygen, the water is demanding for less oxygen, that means the water is clean and it is a drinking water. Whereas if the water is demanding for a high oxygen or the demand for oxygen is high, that means the water is unfit for drinking. Okay, if the BOD value is less, that means uh, the water is fit for drinking. If the BOD value is more, then it is unfit for drinking. So you must have, for example, you must have come across these such advertisements as well on RO purifier, UV purifiers, yes or no, the water purifiers which have been used. So what is a major thing what they do is, they the BOD value are being seen there, the BOD value. Okay, the BOD value is nothing but how much the biological oxygen demand is. Okay, what is the biological oxygen demand of the water? Okay, if the water biological oxygen demand of the water is less, that means it is a fit for drinking. If it is the biological oxygen demand is more, that means it is unfit for drinking. Okay, so some doesn't mean that all the drinking water are fit for drinking. Okay, there was one test done in the laboratories. So what happened was, when they tested for the biological oxygen demand, it was found that the biological oxygen demand was more. Okay, the water is totally clear, pure. You can see that, okay, this water is crystal clear. Okay, you can't see any such microorganism. You can't see any such dirt or any organic matter in it. Nothing. Okay, when they put in that, there will be actually one kind of a glass or one kind of this funnel type, it's been used for the biological oxygen demand to measure it. So what happened was, they checked for it, they saw the water. Okay, the water is totally clear. You can't see any such thing that it makes it as a bad water. Okay, so the biological oxygen demand test was done. The test is done for in a 2 days time. Okay, the test is done for a 2 days time to see whether the any microorganisms are there, or any microorganisms are there in it. So what was the conclusion of that test was, there was a high level of biological oxygen demand, that is BOD. There was a high level of BOD. So it was obviously it is a curiosity, right? That how the water is totally clear. What might be the reason for the high level of oxygen demand? So they did it. The test was done to see which organism is particularly present in this water. So they found out that the microorganism which was present in it, was nothing but E. coli. Okay, all are aware about what is E. coli. All must be aware about what is E. coli. Yes or no? Last year, you must have studied why E. coli is used, and it is used as to do the different experiments, to do the different tests as well. So E. coli is something which only comes into the water or into the environment if it is not done in the laboratories. It is only comes into the environment is because of the human excreta. That is, only through the human fecal it can be seen in the external environment. Understood? Otherwise, it is impossible anywhere to have E. coli. That means that water was contaminated by human excreta. The water was either contaminated by human excreta, or it had come across some like this of some human excreta where it has got mixed with it or something like that. Okay, E. coli is an organism which is only found in the external environment, if not done in laboratories, is through human excreta. That is because E. coli is present in the intestine of our body. Okay, it is present in the intestine of our body. The biological oxygen demand was more because of presence of E. coli in that particular water. Okay, every clear water doesn't mean it is not contaminated, and any such water doesn't mean that it contains E. coli as well. Okay, any such water which you feel that it is contaminated must contain E. coli as well. So any such clear crystal water can also be contaminated with such microorganism which can cause different diseases in us. That is the waterborne diseases. Okay, so basically, what is biological oxygen demand is nothing but where the oxygen where if there is a high level of oxygen demand, that means the water is contaminated or unfit for drinking, whereas if the biological oxygen demand is less, that means that is fit for drinking, or it is a clear or clean water. Okay, it is a clear or clean water. So now coming to the definition of it, the amount of oxygen required for microbial breakdown of the biodegradable organic matter is called as BOD. Yesterday someone had said about biodegradable organic matter, how it causes, how it can cause the contamination or the pollution in the water. This is like that. What happens is, when the biodegradable organic matter is present in the water, okay, when the biodegradable organic matters are present in the water, what happens? It needs the microorganism present in it needs oxygen to break it down. The microorganism present in it needs oxygen to break it down. Okay, this biodegradable organic matter, to break down it, these microorganism needs oxygen. Okay, and that demand of oxygen is called as biological oxygen demand, and that demand of oxygen is called as biological oxygen demand. Okay, so once again, I'm repeating the biodegradable organic matter. These biodegradable organic matters are nothing but these some of those microbes, weeds, algae, and different things, organic matters present in it. Not that only it has to be seen or visible. It can be something organic matters, waste, kitchen waste as well. So what happens? These biodegradable organic matter has to be broken down. This is broken down by the microorganisms. This microorganism needs oxygen to break it down. Okay. And how much of oxygen is, if the oxygen is more, that means it is more contaminated. If the oxygen demand is less, that means it is less contaminated. Okay, as the oxygen demand for this microorganism increases, the BOD value increases. Okay, as it decreases, the oxygen demand decreases, the BOD value also decreases. Why this microorganism needs oxygen to break it down? It's because this microorganism works by using the oxygen for it. So to get energy, to break down these biodegradable organic matter, oxygen is needed. Okay, so oxygen is needed, and as the value increases of the BOD, as the BOD value increases, the oxygen demand also increases. So the amount of oxygen required for microbial breakdown of biodegradable organic matter is called as BOD. It is asked what is BOD or expand BOD, then it is biological oxygen demand. Okay, BOD is higher in polluted water and lesser in drinking water. BOD is used as a measure of degree of water pollution and wastewater. Yes, it is used as a BOD is used as a measure of a degree. Usually BOD test is only done to measure how much of water is polluted. Okay, BOD tests are done how much of water is polluted. That to not only one, it is not like only one only one sample of water is taken and is the test is done. Different samples of waters are taken with a different concentration to see about how much the water is polluted. Okay, when the amount of waste is more, then the BOD value is more. If the amount of waste is more, the biological oxygen demand is more. Thus BOD values indicate the degree of water pollution. If the BOD is more, the water is more polluted. If the BOD is less, the water is less polluted, or it is not polluted, it is not at all polluted as well. Okay, so BOD is nothing but biological oxygen demand. And remember the definition. If it is asked what is biological oxygen demand, define biological oxygen demand, then you have to remember the amount of oxygen required for microbial breakdown of biodegradable organic matter is called as BOD. The amount of oxygen required for microbial breakdown of biodegradable organic matter is called as BOD. Okay, the amount of oxygen required for microbial breakdown of biodegradable means which can be broken down or can be degraded by the microorganisms. Okay, biodegradable organic matter is called as BOD. BOD is higher in polluted water and lesser in drinking water. BOD is used as a measure of degree of water pollution and waste. When the amount of waste is more, the BOD value is more. Thus, BOD value indicates the degree of water pollution. Okay, the degree of water pollution can be indicated. Water pollution can be indicated by the BOD value. Okay, this is about the biological oxygen demand. Next, coming to algal bloom. Okay, anytime when you have gone to such rivers or any such places, you must have seen this green color moss-like structures on the rocks near the near the bay as well. You must have seen like this green structures, which totally covers the stones, which can totally cover the bay of the river, bay of the sea, or anything as such. You can see here. This these are nothing but called as algal bloom. Okay, so why it is an effect of water pollution is because see, presence of large amount of nutrients in water also causes excessive growth of planktonic, means free floating algae. Okay, so what happens is now, for example, take this is a river which contains lot of nutrients in it, like lot of organic waste in it. Okay, lot of organic waste in it, and what happens is this gives one proper condition or a proper place for this algae to bloom. Okay, to bloom or to grow. Okay, why? It's because they get nutrients from the water. Okay, algae are something, planktonics means free floating algae. Algae are something which can prepare their own food if they contains chlorophyll in them. Okay, so what they do is they take up the nutrients from the water. Okay, they take up the nutrients from the water and they grow over here. Okay, they grow over here. Now, the thing is why they are called as planktonic is because they are free floating. Means if you can see, if you go on these bays or such river bays or somewhere near the rock areas where the water is hitting into that rock, then you can see this algal bloom floating there. Okay, these green color blooms, algal blooms floating there. A kind of a thread-like structures will be there. Okay, you must have seen that. Anyone has seen it? Such thread-like structures will be the green thread-like structure which will be floating there near the rocks, near the bay of the river as well. Okay, so near the bay of the river as well, such yes, everyone has seen, right? So such thread-like structures will be floating near the base and as well as the near the rocks. So these are nothing but called as algal blooms. Okay, these are nothing but called as algal blooms. So what happens to these algal blooms is these are caused because of high amount of nutrients present in the water. Okay, the water which do not have any organic matters, the waters which do not have a higher number of organic matters doesn't give birth to these algal blooms. Okay, only those rivers or only those water bodies which contains a large number of organic matters in them, which contains large number of biodegradable organic matters in them, only those gives birth to these algal blooms. Okay, it's because these algal blooms can take nutrients from these water bodies. Okay, so what is algal bloom is nothing but presence of large amount of nutrients in water. Presence of large amount of nutrients in water causes excessive growth of planktonic. That is, planktonic is nothing but free floating. Planktonic is nothing but free floating. Okay, planktonic is nothing but free floating algae. If it is asked, don't get confused. What is planktonic? Planktonic meaning is free floating. Planktonic algae, that is free floating algae, called as algal bloom. Okay, these algal bloom are grown. The presence of algal bloom says that there are a lot of organic matter in that particular river or that particular water body. Okay, excessive growth of planktonic algae on water body surface. You can see that on the base. You can see when the water comes and hit to the bay of the river. You can see such algal blooms over there growing there. That means a lot of organic nutrients are present in it. It causes fish mortality and pollute water. Yes, pollution of water is done by these algal blooms, which are of no use at all, which cannot be used with the consumption or any other things. And the other thing is it causes fish mortality. Fish mortality is nothing but the killing of the fish. Okay, fish mortality is nothing but the killing of the fish. Okay, the killing of the fish is done by this these algae. So it is of no advantage. It cannot be used anywhere for the any consumption or anything such. So it is an effect of water pollution. Okay, why this effect of water pollution is because a lot of organic matters are allowed to be dumped. Nutrient matters are allowed to be dumped in such water bodies, which can cause this algal blooms, which also makes difficult for the which also makes difficult for those fishermen, or also those who go for the rowing or any as such in these rivers and all. They also make problems for those people as well, because of the thread-like structures which gets stuck to the which gets stuck to the feet and makes it difficult to move as well. Okay, and also it for the trapping of the fish, also it is makes a problem for them, causing killing them. So and also polluting the water. So algal blooms are nothing but are caused due to the large amount of nutrients in the water, and these free floating algae these free floating algae are caused. Okay, these free floating algae are caused, which are known as algal bloom. Excessive growth of planktonic algae on water body surface, it causes fish mortality, that means the death of the fish, and pollute water. Okay, this is about the algal bloom. Next, coming to what is biomagnification. Okay, so we have heard it already, this word known as biomagnification in our earlier slides. So now what it is? Okay, now first we'll not go to the definition or any as such, we'll not confuse ourselves. So we'll see what actually the picture says. Okay, now, okay, so imagine now we are thinking that this is a kind of a river. Okay, we'll take it as a sea, not a river. Okay, we'll take it as a sea. So now in the sea water there is a DDT has come in. Okay, DDT is nothing but insecticide, that is dichloro-diphenyl trichloroethane. Okay, dichloro-diphenyl trichloroethane. It is a insecticide. So this is a DDT has come into the water from the soil. Okay, now the DDT has entered into the water. Now this DDT is taken up by the zooplanktons. Okay, zooplanktons are nothing but those are also free floating algae. Okay, zooplanktons are nothing but those are also the free floating algae, but the only difference is depend they depend on the water's nutrients only for their food. Okay, these zooplanktons only depend on the water nutrients for their food. Okay, they are heterotrophic. Heterotrophic means they depend on the water sources for their food. Okay, so now the DDT has come in the water. Okay, now this DDT is taken up by these zooplanktons. Okay, now this DDT is taken up by these zooplanktons. From these zooplanktons, what happens is these zooplanktons are eaten up by the small fishes. Okay, the DDT which had entered into the water, this water is consumed by the zooplanktons. Okay, now the DDT has entered into their body. Okay, from here, what happens is these small fishes eat these zooplanktons which have DDT. Okay, these small fishes eat these zooplanktons which have DDT. Now the DDT is moved into them. Okay, now later what happens? These small fishes are eaten up by the larger fishes. Now the DDT has moved into them. Okay, so now these small fishes are eaten up by these large fish and the DDT is moved into them. Okay, now these large fishes are eaten up by this fish eating birds, Now the DDT has entered into this. Now where it has reached? Here. From the water, it has reached to this fish eating birds. Okay, this fish eating birds. Now, what is biomagnification? Now, the word there is something which let me take your attention is magnification. Okay, magnification means in each trophic level it magnifies, means it becomes larger. Okay, that means it becomes larger. Magnifies is nothing but it becomes larger. So why the what I should say, the value increases. Okay, or the value increases. So that is okay. The value increases. Uh, so what the thing is, I'm saying that the DGT from the DGT from the water which containing DGT, now it moves up to this fish eating bird. Okay, now it moves up to this fish eating bird. Okay, the DGT has moved to this from the zooplankton to the from the water to the zooplanktons, from zooplankton to the small eating birds. Sorry, to the small fishes, from the small fishes to the little larger fish, and from larger fish it has gone into the fish eating birds. Okay, now the word that which I want you to know about is magnification. Magnification is nothing but it magnifies. It magnifies means the concentration increases with each level. Okay, the concentration increases with each level. Now, you will ask me, why, ma'am? Why does the concentration increase? Yes or no? So, the thing is, DDT insecticide is something which is fat soluble. Okay, it is a fat soluble. It is a fat soluble insecticide. Okay, so what happens is in the water, it is a fat soluble insecticide is one thing. One more thing is from the from the water when the concentration is very less, a very less ppm of concentration is there from the water when it moves into the zooplanktons. Okay, from the water it moves to a many zooplanktons. Yes or no? The DDT moves to a many number of zooplanktons. Okay, the DDT from the water moves into the many number of zooplanktons. Then what happens is a large number of zooplanktons are eaten by these small fishes. This one small fish eats large number of zooplanktons. Okay. So what happens is from here it has moved into the air. Okay. From the DDT from the water has moved into the zooplanktons. Now a large number of zooplanktons are eaten by this small fish. Okay. A large number of zooplanktons are eaten by this small fish. Then what happens is a large number of small fish which have eaten larger number of zooplanktons are eaten by this large fish. Okay, a large number of small fishes are eaten by this large fish. So what happens is the concentration again increases into this large fish, and then what happens? The fish-eating birds eat a larger number of these large fishes, where the concentration again increases into this fish-eating birds. Yeah, understanding what actually happens is the DDT from the water is taken up by the zooplanktons. Okay, these all zooplanktons takes the DDT from here. Then what happens is one small fish. Okay, then what happens is one small fish eats a large number of zooplankton which contains DDT. Then what happens? Many such small fishes are eaten large number of zooplanktons which contains DDT. So what happens? Many such small fishes are later eaten by these large fishes. So what happens? The concentration of DDT increases into this large fish. Okay, so the concentration increases by this 2 ppm. So you can see here, increases here. So what happens? Then again a large number of large fishes are eaten by this fish-eating birds. Okay, a large number of large fishes are eaten by this fish-eating birds. So what happens is again DDT increases into this fish-eating birds. So like this, the concentration increases. And one more thing is DDT is something which is fat soluble. So what happens? Whenever from the water it goes to zooplankton, and from zooplankton it goes to fishes. Fishes also contains fats. So what they do is they deposit this DDT in their fat. Okay, in their fat. Then what happens is that do not get excreted out. That is not taken out only from their body. So what happens? That again it is moved into the larger fish because it has been deposited in their fatty tissues. As or no, fat tissues it has been deposited. So what happens? This is again the fat deposited fishes. DDT containing fat deposited fishes now again moves into this larger fish. What happens is here again the DDT is deposited in the fatty tissues. Okay, so later it has been consumed here. That the DDT which is situated or which is consumed in this fatty tissues are being eaten by this. Okay, so because of this, the concentration increases. It's very simple. From the water, the zooplanktons take it. Okay, so large number of zooplanktons are eaten by the small fishes. Okay, so what happened? This much amount of zooplankton are eaten by this one large fish. Okay, one small fish. So what happens? Many number of such small fishes are later eaten by this large fish. Okay, where the DDT concentration increases, and many such large fishes are eaten by this fish-eating birds, where again the concentration increases. Okay, so this is what is about biomagnification. Magnification is nothing but where it with the each stage it increases, the concentration increases. So increase in the concentration of the toxicant, that is the example which is taken is DDT or the non-biodegradable pollutant, which is not degraded by the microorganism at a successive trophic level. So why it is called a successive trophic level? That is because from the water to zooplankton, from zooplankton to the small fishes, from small fishes to large fishes, from large fishes to the fish-eating birds. So these are nothing called as trophic levels. These are nothing called as trophic levels. You are understanding it? You understood what is biomagnification? Okay, you all of you understood, right? What is biomagnification and how it works? So this is about biomagnification. From each level, the concentration increases. Okay, toxic subaccumulated by an organism cannot be metabolized. So what happens is because it gets deposited into the fatty tissues, it is not metabolized. That is, it is not excreted out from their body. Toxic passes to the next trophic level, yes, from the zooplankton to the small fish, from small fish to the large fish, from large fish to the fish-eating birds. Okay, these are the different trophic levels. And mercury and DDT that are the ones which are usually for the biomagnification. Okay, which are usually are those harmful chemicals which are for the biomagnification. There is one like a small flow chart also given here, that is biomagnification of DDT in aquatic food chain. It is about the aquatic food chain, whereas from the water to the zooplankton, from zooplankton to the small fish, write it down and take, note down it and take, from small fish to the large fish, and from the large fish to the fish-eating birds. This is how the biomagnification works. This is how the biomagnification works. So everyone understood what is biomagnification? Is there any doubts? Is there any doubts regarding this or any other topic? Okay, everyone is clear about what is biomagnification, how it works, right? Very good. So, okay. So this is what is bioaccumulation and biomagnification. So this is okay. Bioaccumulation is nothing but we can see that in the picture as well. Okay, like the picture, everyone. Okay. Yeah, it's because only for your better understanding, that is bioaccumulation is nothing but increase in the concentration of a pollutant in an organism. What happens is this one particular organism is only eating mercury or intaking mercury or DDT. So here only the concentration increases. Okay, in this one particular organism only. Okay, but what biomagnification is, from small to the larger fish, from very small fish to the smaller fish, from small fish to a larger fish. Okay, this is what bioaccumulation is. Understood? sorry, biomagnification is. I'm very sorry. This is what biomagnification is. What happens when this particular fish takes up the mercury from here? This is what biomagnification is. From here, it moves on to here. From here, the mercury moves on to here. This is biomagnification. Okay. What is bioaccumulation? Only you have to remember is bioaccumulation is this one particular fish only is taking mercury. Okay. And here only the concentration is increasing. It is not moving from the mercury is not moving from this fish to this fish. Okay. Here only the concentration is increasing. The mercury is not moving from this fish to this fish. And this is what is bioaccumulation. Okay, this is what is bioaccumulation. Understood what is bioaccumulation? Understood what is bioaccumulation? Biomagnification? Okay, so this is clear, right? What is bioaccumulation and magnification? Bioaccumulation is nothing but just remember the concentration only increases in this one particular organism, whereas biomagnification is from this organism to this organism, from this organism to this organism. Okay, are there any doubts? Are there any doubts regarding this topic? Today, whatever was done, effects of water pollution, and then about the BOD, about this algal bloom, and about the biomagnification. Any doubts? Okay, if there are any doubts as well, read it once again properly. Make sure you understand it. If there are any doubts, ask me in the next class. And make sure you also remember that there are different events going on from the Fine Arts Association. So please do participate. Okay. Ma'am, have we known that the fish consume? If the water is having the mercury, only then it will like it has been consumed. Okay. The water testing has to be done whether the water contains mercury or not. Okay. Otherwise, it's impossible for the fish to consume mercury. Okay. If only the water presence is, only then there is the chances of the fish having the mercury. Okay. So study, okay, and please make sure you go through the points once again. Okay, thank you.